guys, welcome to Body Successful. I'm Dr. K. In today's video, we are going to look over all the crucial and most common mistakes people make that sabotage their weight loss goals. You've probably heard that the most important aspect of weight loss happens in the kitchen. And indeed, most of you are either eating too much, you're eating too little of the wrong foods, or you're eating them at the wrong time. So let's take a look. A lot of your weight loss goals are being sabotaged because you have no idea how many calories you're consuming. And studies have shown that people tend to underestimate and underreport how many calories they consume in a day by up to 50%. And the golden rule of weight loss is that you have to be eating in a caloric deficit in order to see results. So if you're not tracking your calories, how are you going to measure progress? And I know that measuring calories and tracking them can be a daunting task, but the thing is there's so many great applications out there these days that are going to make this really easy for you. Now the opposite is the candidate who is consuming too little calories and they cut calories way too quickly. And it was believed in the past that in order to lose a pound of fat a week, you had to restrict your calories by 3,500 calories in a week or 500 in a day. And of course, this had no scientific proof to it whatsoever and has been debunked long ago. Of course, it couldn't be further from the truth, because in order to get these type of results, and each individual would have to go through a completely different caloric deficit. Now, take myself, for example. If I eat about 1,700 calories a day to maintain my frame, and if I want to start losing a pound of fat a week, I would have to cut by 500 calories. Well, that would leave me in a 1,200 calorie diet, and that would be about a 30% reduction in my caloric intake. Compare that with an individual who is much larger in frame, let's say eating 3,000 calories. Now, if they cut 500 calories, that's only a 15% sacrifice in their calories. So 15% compared to a 30% reduction in caloric intake will have completely different hormonal as well as metabolic consequences. So you see, you cannot be following such generic rules, because in order to lose weight, there's so many variables when it comes to calorie cutting. It is so individual. So, it's outdated, and you need to stop following the cookie cutter approaches. Because let me ask you this: do you want to be losing fast at the expense of muscle mass and your metabolic health? Or are you looking for long-term success where you ensure that your results will be long-term? You're not going to fall off the wagon and start gaining weight back. You are not going to sabotage your muscle mass. In other words, you're prioritizing fat loss over muscle, and you're going to maintain your your metabolic health. And of course, most of you pick the latter. So the thing is, see, if you cut calories too quickly, your body gets used to that, and then it doesn't leave you with a whole lot of wiggle room, and it sets you up for weight gain in the future, guaranteed. So see, if I cut 500 calories from 1,700, that leaves me 1,200. And yes, I'm going to be seeing results. I'm going to be losing weight for a while. But when that is plateaus, then I'm going to have to cut again. So now I'm to 700 calories, and that's not sustainable. That's catastrophic as far as the body's concerned. I'm setting myself up for breaking down my muscle tissue and reducing my basal metabolic rate drastically. And that is just not something that can give me long-term success. So instead, you should be cutting maybe a couple of 100 calories a day. So that will obviously give you results for a while. And then when the results taper off, you throw in some exercise and continue seeing results. When that tapers off, then what you want to be doing is maybe throwing in another variable, like allocating your macronutrients rather in a different way. Let's say eating more protein than carbs, or reducing the window when you're consuming these calories. So you get my point. There's so many tiny little variables that you can tweak in order to continue seeing results. And this is the reason why you want to be, you want to kind of be maybe flirting with your body, or you want to be teasing the body constantly so it doesn't get used to, it doesn't know when it's coming, and it continuously starts giving you results. In other words, with very little effort, you continue seeing the results. You're going to be working hard, not working harder, but you're going to be working smarter. Which brings me to another point. You have to be very careful what kind of information you follow, because we're being indoctrinated with these false statements out there that have absolutely no scientific value, such as eating 6 to 8 meals a day, small meals, in order to keep the metabolism firing. I mean, this couldn't be further from the truth. It has never been validated by science. If you think about it, it doesn't even make sense from a perspective of evolution. The cavemen didn't have this type of luxury to go and graze all day long, go to the refrigerator and grab a snack. If it killed, it had a huge meal, and then it went through a period of fasting. And I know that evolution happened so long ago. I mean, the cavemen happened so long ago, but in terms of evolution, this is just really a kind of a wink in time. So we're still wired the same way, you guys. We're not wired to eat all day long. And think about it. What happens when you eat? When you eat, insulin gets released into the blood, and insulin is a fat storing hormone. It is a storage hormone. In other words, if you eat all day long, you're constantly supplying the body with insulin, and in turn, the body is constantly in a fat storing mode. It never gives the opportunity for the body to switch into a fat burning mode and access its stored fat. So instead, refrain from eating for a certain period of time, for several hours. So that gives the body the opportunity to decrease its insulin levels, switch from a fat storing to a fat burning mode where it can access the stored fat for energy. Another important thing that I need to mention, which I see often, is people's choice of foods. You fall for these fallacies, these marketing trigger words like diet and fat-free or low-fat or whatever. And you're thinking that it's a better choice for you during weight loss, but unfortunately they have the opposite effect. Because if it's fat-free, it has to be loaded with sugar in order to make it more palatable. So snacking on high sugary foods will just keep you hungrier, and it's going to make you want to crave more sugar. So instead, what you want to be doing is reaching for more whole foods that are more protein dense, that are going to keep you fuller longer and help you have a better handle on your hunger. Okay, now big point coming up, exercise. A lot of you think that it's okay to calorie restrict and not exercise, and that's a big mistake, because when you're calorie restricting and not exercising, you're setting your body up for breaking down muscle tissue, maintaining your fat tissue, and reducing your basal metabolic rate. Instead, you need to be exercising and weight training in order to keep your metabolic health. When you exercise, then you're going to make sure that you're maintaining lean muscle mass, and the primary tissue you're losing is fat, and you're going to keep your basal metabolic rate higher, so you're able to burn fat away from when you're exercising, and you're going to be able to burn more calories at rest when you are not exercising. So it is crucial to exercise especially when you're calorie restricting. Studies have shown that the most effective way to approach weight loss is to weight train, in fact, and do some cardio. But they also emphasize that weight training is more effective at increasing your basal metabolic rate, post-exercise, maintaining your lean muscle mass and losing more fat more efficiently, and of course, giving you a better body composition. Now, another biggie, alcohol. This is an indulgence that most people don't think about as being important when in their weight loss journey, especially if they're only drinking recreationally. For example, you go out on the weekend with your buddies and you have a few drinks. But it has bigger effects on your weight loss than you might think. For one, alcohol is a highly caloric dense substance. 1 gram of alcohol will equal 7 calories, so it's almost as dense as fat. Fat is 9, by the way. But it's not just about the calories. See, alcohol is a poison to the body. It cannot be stored. And so the body has to get rid of it right away. And it has no nutritional value either. So when it gets ingested, the organ that's responsible for oxidizing it is the liver. The liver is also responsible for oxidizing fat. So when you're metabolizing, you're getting the alcohol in, the liver has to prioritize metabolizing the alcohol because it's a poison, so it has to get rid of it as quick as possible. In the meantime, it's going to shut down all other metabolic processes, including burning fat. So while you have alcohol in your body, you cannot burn fat. Now, also, alcohol is going to affect your anabolic hormones, such as testosterone. So let's say you went to the gym, you worked out really hard, you're hoping that, okay, post-exercise, you're gonna start building muscle and repairing muscle tissue. Well, it's going to be very ineffective if you went out on the weekend and drank with your buddies, because it's going to decrease your testosterone levels, and it's going to make muscle building as well as muscle recovery a lot less efficient. It also influences your satiety centers. So no wonder that when you drink, you feel like you need to be snacking on something, because it's going to make you hungrier. It'll want to make you crave foods, especially highly fatty foods and highly sugary foods. So see, alcohol will influence you in all kinds of ways, and it's really not going to be productive for you to drink while you're trying to lose weight. Now, I'd like to mention a few other points which are not as important, but I see it all too often. For example, stop wasting your time on the scale in terms of obsessing over that number, because the scale is just one form of measurement, and your weight will depend, especially if you're a woman, on your hormonal fluctuations, your water retention, the type of foods you eat. If you're working out, muscle weighs way more than fat does. So it's not a very good way to measure progress. You should be using it, but not all day, every day, and not as a single tool. You should be using things like pictures, tape measure, your old clothes, and use all these things together to determine how your progress is going. Sleep is so important, because your hunger hormones are under direct control of sleep. The less you sleep, the more tired you feel, less energy you have. The body is going to release more hunger hormones to make sure that you're eating and that you are getting more energy. So again, less sleep, not very good on the body during weight loss. Another important thing that I see all the time is people drinking their calories away. And I'm not talking even about the extreme of Coke or sodas and Starbucks. I'm talking about the person who thinks that drinking a glass of OJ in the morning for breakfast is healthy. And that couldn't be further from the truth, guys. When you're losing weight, this is really, really countereffective. Okay, you need to stop it. It is full of sugar. You have to be patient. Patience is so important when you're losing weight, because unfortunately in today's society we are kind of wired to think about all the bulletproof silver bullet diets out there, the next best thing. I mean, think about it. Can you market hard work and dedication and all that? I mean, of course not. But if I tell you that I have the next best thing out there for dieting, that it's going to make you lose 20 pounds in 30 days, of course everyone's buying into it, right? But the thing is, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Face it, if there was something out there already, the world would be all fit and skinny and somebody would be extremely wealthy. So again, be patient, and also expect that you're going to have bad days. Expect that you're going to fall off the wagon sometimes, and it's normal. You're human after all. I mean, it's going to be an up and down battle. If you want to climb Mount Everest, you're going to go through a lot of valleys as well as a lot of peaks to get to the very top. So expect it, you're going to have bad days. But if you expect it, then you're less likely to fall off this journey altogether. And don't look at the people who are pulling you down, and just surround yourself with people who are like-minded and they're supporting you. Because if you lose weight too quickly, the brain doesn't necessarily see it as a good thing. When the brain sees that you're losing a lot of weight too quickly, it panics. It says, oh my God, this body is starving. I need to make sure that they survive. And at this point, what it does, it reduces your basal metabolic rate. It's going to make you feel more sluggish, so you are going to burn less energy at rest. It's going to want to make you crave more foods, because now wants you to just eat, right? So it's going to cause all these metabolic changes in order for you to start eating more. And this is the point where the body just basically gives up, and the individual usually falls off their weight loss goals. So take it easy, take it slow, surround yourself with people who are like-minded and support you in your belief, and divorce all the naysayers, and just surround yourself with people like myself who are here to support you and who are here to answer your questions. So ask questions, make comments, because I am here for you at your disposal 24/7.